Hello, family. Germany has modified its constitution to ease the debt brake mechanism. It has gone viral. Many people are excited about this news. Is Germany about to lift the restrictions? Is Europe going to gain military autonomy? Is Germany going to rise again under the leadership of Olaf Scholz? Don't rush. It's the climax. Today, we will take a clear look at Germany's true nature and Europe's dilemma. First, let's look at what the debt brake is. Germany established a constitutional amendment in 2009. It stipulates that the federal government's structural deficit cannot exceed 0.35% of GDP annually. State governments cannot have any structural deficits. In simple terms, Germany has locked its own fiscal spending. Since Scholz took office, he has been eager to amend this mechanism. He wants to allow more defense spending to be exempt from these limits. He stated that he would spare no effort to protect national security. It sounds thrilling, right? Isn't Germany going to rearm? Is Europe going to gain military autonomy? Don't be foolish. This is not a sign of resurgence. It is Germany's desperate struggle in the face of a survival crisis. Why is it said that Germany has no way out now? Let's see how Germany developed. Post-World War II, Germany rose during a unique historical period. At that time, it enjoyed three major dividends. The first is the East-West dividend. Germany was at the forefront of the Cold War. It was a showcase for the superiority of the two major ideological camps. Thus, it simultaneously received the infusion of technology and economy from both sides. West Germany had the Marshall Plan. East Germany had support from the Soviet Union. This was the right timing. The second is the demographic dividend. The post-war baby boom. The baby boom generation born between 1955 and 1970 accounted for about 30% of Germany's population. This is the geographical advantage. The third is the technological dividend. Relying on the abundant resources of engineers and scientists accumulated before the war, Germany experienced a simultaneous emergence of demographic and engineering dividends. In 1950, the number of university students in West Germany was 100,000. By 1970, it increased to 410,000. With the support of timing, location, and human resources, Germany was like a pig sitting on the wind. It was hard not to rise. After the Cold War, Germany continued to benefit. The US was busy with counterterrorism. It handed over European affairs to Germany to manage. Germany took advantage of EU expansion. It gained cheap labor from Eastern Europe. Germany eased relations with Russia. It obtained cheap energy and established trade ties with Eastern Europe. It gained a vast market. Thus, Germany established a diplomatic relationship with the US. Military ties with NATO. Germany's economy thrived in a tripartite political landscape in Europe. This led to the prosperity of the Merkel era. However, now these dividends have basically disappeared. The East-West dividend is gone. The Cold War ended. Germany is no longer at the forefront of suppression. The demographic dividend has also vanished. The baby boom generation has aged in Germany. The birth rate has long hovered around 1.5. This is far below the replacement level. The native white population in Germany is continuously shrinking, and its technological advantage has fallen behind. Eastern Europe has surpassed Germany in terms of technological innovation. Germany's competitive industries are being caught up one by Eastern Europe. Even surpassed. The EU dividend? The Eastern European countries are also experiencing population decline. They can no longer provide more labor. The energy dividend? The Nord Stream pipeline was bombed. Russian gas supplies were cut off. German industry has lost the support of low-cost energy. The market dividend? Eastern Europe's domestic market is becoming increasingly self-sufficient. Germany's export advantages are weakening. Germany faces multiple overlapping crises. Now, Germany can only receive large numbers of immigrants from the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa to replenish its labor force. What have these immigrants brought to Germany? That is religious conflict and racial issues. As the white population in Germany declines, the self-defense awareness among whites increases. Middle Eastern and African immigrants have a strong cultural identity. They are hard to assimilate. This leads to rising tensions between both sides. In terms of religion, Germany is also in a dilemma. That is differentiation. Middle Eastern immigrants face the threat of terrorism. Forcing assimilation of Middle Eastern immigrants also faces terrorism. This is a contradiction that Germany cannot solve. In terms of race, especially for immigrants from sub-Saharan Africa, their education levels are generally low. The social issues they bring are more pronounced and difficult to conceal. In these matters, with the continued decline of the native white population in Germany, solutions are nearly impossible. Europe's military jokes are about having excess funds but lacking combat effectiveness. Some may say, Germany has lifted the debt ceiling. It is to revitalize military strength. Doesn't this signal strong military autonomy for Europe? It's simply a joke. The problem with European military matters is not about money. Here's a little-known fact. The total military expenditure of EU countries in 2024 is 326 billion euros. That's about 2.6 trillion Chinese yuan. The military budget for East University in 2024 is 1.6 trillion renminbi. It must be surprising. However, Europe's military budget is 60% higher than East University's. With so much money spent, why does Europe perform so poorly in the Russia-Ukraine conflict? The reason is simple. It is redundant construction. Self-sufficient investment. The European Union is a union of dozens of countries. Each country has to maintain its own military. And it must be fully equipped. For example, Belgium, such a tiny country, has an army with 800 armored vehicles. Can you expect Belgium to send those armored vehicles to the front lines in Ukraine? That's impossible. Only if the enemy reaches Belgium. Those armored vehicles can be useful. This is the trouble of not having a unified military. Every country must build its own military. Each military must have a complete system of forces and equipment. The primary task of every country's military is to defend its own nation, not to fight on behalf of the EU. Imagine if every province in East University had its own military. The military couldn't even leave the province before the enemy arrived. They could only stare helplessly. This is how Europe operates. Thus, there is a scenario where a Europe of 500 million people is helping Ukraine, with its 40 million population, to confront Russia's 145 million. Germany's once proud industrial strength is now rapidly declining. A few weeks ago, Volkswagen announced it might close factories in Germany, which could lead to 110,000 layoffs. This caused a huge uproar in Germany. It's important to note that Volkswagen had promised since 1994 not to lay off employees before 2029. Yet now, it plans to implement layoffs by 2026. German media blamed the downturn on the Chinese market. But what is the truth? The truth is that the German government is destroying its own industrial base. What is the foundation of a country's industrial advantage? It is cheap energy, stable policies, high-quality labor, and international markets. All 4 points are being destroyed. Under Germany's energy policy, Germany actively cut off the supply of cheap energy from Russia. Electricity prices soared, and costs in the chemical and manufacturing industries surged. Under the Green Party's climate protection policies, German companies face various restrictions and additional costs. Population decline and the influx of refugees have led to a decrease in labor quality. The German government wavers in its diplomatic policies toward the US, Russia, and East University. This has cut off energy supplies and international market access for German businesses. It's no wonder that Germans say, after destroying their banking, chemical, pharmaceutical, solar, and wind energy industries, they will soon destroy the automotive industry. East University is advancing Industry 4.0, while Germany is stuck in Industry 4.0. This is not a joke. This is Germany's reality. If Germany wants to truly rise, it faces a fundamental issue: the division of Europe. Let's look at the world order. The US is a large federal state with unified military and foreign policies. Russia, though economically weak, has a highly centralized military. East University is a model of concentrating power to achieve great things. Meanwhile, Europe has 27 member states, 27 governments, 27 armies, and 27 sets of interests. Whenever a major crisis arises, the EU tends to fracture. Germany's way out of the predicament is to unify the EU, to establish a true European federation. But is this possible? It's not possible. France will not allow Germany to lead. Britain has already left Europe. Eastern European countries have doubts about Germany's leadership. Nationalist sentiments are rising in Europe, and right-wing parties are on the rise. Integration is more difficult than division. Germany's modification of the debt ceiling is merely a sign of desperate struggle. It seeks to revive Germany's industry through increased military spending. But it has not addressed the fundamental issues: population decline, energy shortages, market losses, and the division of Europe. What insights does Germany's predicament offer? First, population is fundamental to national development. A continuously shrinking population cannot support a strong economy and military. Second, energy security is a vital part of national security. Germany sacrificed energy security for climate justice. This comes at a heavy cost. Third, ideology cannot outweigh real interests. The Green Party's ideological fixation led to the destruction of Germany's industrial base. Fourth, unity is the superiority of the modern state system. A divided Europe cannot compete with unified America, Russia, and East University. In the face of competition from the US, China, and Russia, Europe's decline is inevitable. Unless it can truly achieve federal unity, it will continue to be relegated to a minor player in great power struggles. In this great revival, what opportunities does each stage present? Videos will clarify this for everyone. Now, hurry to follow. Don't miss any updates.